Hi, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Natanya, and I'm the host of Divine Keys podcast. In this podcast, I'm going to be talking about my faith experience, and really, my goal is to encourage others through the word of Jesus, through spreading the gospel. I love to talk about faith, mindset, goals, Jesus. So, this is really going to be the channel for that. I would love to hear your experiences, what you've been going through. I love to connect with other people. I also have a community on TikTok, a TikTok channel, same handle, Divine Keys Podcast, but I wanted to create my podcast officially on YouTube. So please like, share, subscribe. I might have already said that. Bear with me. But I would love and appreciate any of the support. So today we're going to be talking about faith based action. So, what does it mean to step into your faith? And first, I'm just going to preface this with when we talk about faith, there's a lot of different things. It's a very broad topic. Um, Without faith, it is impossible to please God. So, that's really the first thing I want to say is that faith is the foundation. It is the key. Faith is literally the key that we have in our relationship with Jesus because when Jesus came to the earth and endured the cross, that was his way of showing faith for humanity. He endured the cross to give us a way, right? Because he is the way, the truth, and the life. So just wanted to preface it with that. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I was thinking the other day about how, or actually in the past month, I've been thinking about how a lot of people wait on the Lord and they are praying about something or they want something in their life to change. So, they're waiting on God. And while that is okay because there is a time and season for everything under the heavens, um, I truly believe wholeheartedly that you have to take action on your faith. And if we look at a lot of stories in the Bible, a lot of the people, they took action and then something changed. They didn't just kind of like sit there and wait, right? They, and I'll give you a few examples. The first example is going to be in Mark 5, but I just wanted to say that faith is trusting the Lord. Like, okay, Lord, I'm not sure what you're doing, why you have me here, why you put this on my spirit, but I'm going to work this out. I know that you're going to work this out, right? We're in this together. So, what I'm trying to say is like, sometimes God will lead you to do something or to go somewhere, and you're not really sure why, but He will eventually give you the answer if you keep at it. If you keep being obedient, that's the key word is obedience. If you're obedient to the Lord, He will eventually show you what He's trying to do in your life. So if the Lord put on your heart to write a book or start a podcast, then you should follow those instructions. So what I'm trying to say is that faith is not knowing all the answers at any given time. It is trusting the Lord in your future in your life. It is all in his hands at the end of the day. And so I'm going to back this up. So in Mark 5, there is a woman and she has been bleeding for 12 years. I mean, poor woman, if only you can imagine, she's been suffering. So she hears about Jesus and then she comes up behind him in the crowd. Can you imagine just like someone who is suffering, who is bleeding, who just, you know, literally just in a crowd of people goes up to Jesus and touches his clothes. And she truly had the faith. She believed that if she were to touch his cloak, that she would be healed. And so then Jesus says, "Who touched my clothes?" And then he finally like saw her and he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." So it took that step. It took her to step into that faith of her touching his cloak in order to be healed. The next example is when um, Peter was going to, when Jesus asked Peter, the disciples, to step out on the water. And Peter was really scared. And then Jesus was like, well, where is your faith, Peter? And then Peter finally took that step of faith and stepped on the water with Jesus. It really took that step to get over his fear. That's really just getting over that fear that you have in any that can be applied to any area of your life. That is what is so great about the Bible is it's literally a guide for your life. Any story can be applied to anything that you're going through. So that's another thing. It's like faith is always going to oppose fear. If you're in fear, you don't have enough faith. And then if you have a lot of faith, then you won't be in fear because you just know that God is going to take care of you. He is going to provide at the end of the day. So just wanted to talk about that. And then I also wanted to, in the book of James, I love the book of James, by the way. It's one of my favorite books in the Bible. But it talks about here that I think it's chapter 2, verse 17. Yes, it says, in the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. But someone will say, you have faith, I have deeds. Da da da. Goes on. I would just read faith and deeds from the book of James, but really, it's pretty much saying faith without action is dead. Faith without works is dead because again, we can't sit around and like wait. Maybe you want to change your job. Well, let's start applying to new jobs. Let's start going on job interviews. It's when you go on the interview that's when you will know, maybe this is good fit. Maybe this is a good fit for me. Maybe it's not a good fit for me. And then, if you ask God and pray, he will give you the discernment whether to continue with something. Same thing with if you're dating. Maybe this person is going to ruin my life. Like the Lord will not give you a sense of peace, right? Just saying that sometimes it takes stepping, it takes action. You have to step into faith. You have to make a move and you have to make room for God to move in your life. That's something that my pastor talked about in a sermon. It really hit me. He said that you have to make room for God to move, right? Last but not least, I want to reference the book of Hebrews because Hebrews is such a good book since it talks about what faith means and persevering in faith. So, highly recommend you give this a read. First one is by faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. In the Bible, it says that we have to walk by faith and not by sight. So, we can't see everything that God is doing. We just have to trust and know that it's going to be done. We have to trust and know that He's working out a plan for our life, that He has a good and a big plan for our life, right? And it kind of reminds me of like, think of a canvas or a masterpiece of artwork, right? It's not going to come together all at once. It's going to take time. God is working on a lot of things on that art piece. There's a lot of details, there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of aspects that go into creating an art piece. You don't just create it in a week, it takes time, right? Everything takes time. There's a time and season for everything. So just know that God is working on your prayers, the desires of your heart. We just have to keep trusting in Him and believing that He's going to do it. We can't lose the faith. Again, faith is the key. It's the key to our foundation with the Lord. Lastly, we are called to persevere in our faith because God is always going to test our faith. That's how He builds our character. So I'm going to leave you with this verse from Hebrews 12. It's one of my favorites. It says, "And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before Him, He endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Every time you want to lose faith, you feel weak, just think of what Jesus did on the cross and fix your eyes on him. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Don't forget to like, share, or subscribe if this resonated with you. Also, just wanted to share, I created a faith journal guide. It is called Glow by Faith Journal. It has a lot of different journal prompts. There's a personal growth section, and then there's a prayer section. It is linked in my bio on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Until next time.